Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. Katie Holmes still alive. Go, girl.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane, and Andy Murray is in the Wimbledon final.
Yeah.
You see, I watched the One Show last night, and that's how Chris Evans opened.
Did he?
And Chris Evans has built a career on saying things that people cheer at the end of.
Yeah.
And he said, welcome to One Show, and Andy Murray's in the Wimbledon final. And even though there's no studio audience there, got quite a big cheer from I don't know who.
From the
few crew members.
Yeah,
When I
it'll
do
be
it-
people in jeans, won't it?
I got one, yeah, from...
From me. Yeah. Well, I'm excited about it.
Perhaps people sense my profound insincerity.
Yeah.
It could be that.
I think
How
I
come they
sense
don't-
I
that.
find it often happens to me.
Yeah. Why come they don't sense Chris Evans' profound insincerity?
I don't know.
He's
I
a
couldn't
pro,
speak
you
for
see.
them.
That's why I am a bumbling amateur at this job. If you want to text us, we're on 8 12 15. As usual. As per usual. And you can follow us on Twitter.
Now they
You
can hear your
must.
insincerity.
Yes. At Frank on Absolute.
I love the way you read that.
Yeah. I feel like I can taste it in my mouth.
The insincerity.
Oh, by the way, on the Katie Holmes topic...
I thought that was going to be, by the way, on the
Okay.
Andy Murray topic.
No, but Katie Holmes, who I mentioned that, in the preamble to this, still alive. I'm excited. I thought her tongue would have been nailed to a altar by now. And I'm glad, because it'd be a waste of what I suspect is a very lovely lady. I saw two things in the tabloids today, in the Mirror and the Sun, about the fact that she has been oppressed by Tom Cruise, and he absolutely controlled her life. And neither of them used the headline cruise control. And I thought, what's happened to the standards
Wasted
of the
opportunity.
punning headline?
I know.
That's a shame.
That's no, he came, he saw, he song good.
No.
That was first class work.
Is that good, you think? Song good?
It's not great, but, you know.
I'm not happy with that. Song good.
Frank, did you get to see Judy Murray punching the air? I know you love it when she does that.
Judy Murray, old Ma Murray, as I call her.
Yeah.
I think he's in great shape for a woman of her age.
Yeah.
She's had those two big boys.
Your partner.
I meant the children. I think she is.
Yeah.
It says something about my age that I peered into the family and friends box at one stage, and
Yeah.
she's sitting next to the sort of... is she a model?
Kim
Andy
Sears.
Morris.
Love
Does
Kim
she?
Sears.
Yeah.
No, Frank.
Yeah, is she a model?
I think she might
They're all.
do it
It's you know,
sometimes.
model
Yeah.
stroke unemployed. That thing. A lot of attractive women use model unemployed.
Yeah.
And I looked and I thought, she's quite attractive, you know, Kate, Mrs. Murray. And that's about your age when you don't look at the model. You look at the mum who's looked after herself quite well. It's reassuring, really. But, yeah, I'm getting to like her. I'm not so keen on him, I'll be honest with you. But I don't want to be a wet blanket.
I get annoyed by people saying that
You get
he's-
annoyed by people.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. That's all I've got today.
Yeah, well, you don't have to elaborate.
I'm
on that.
done. What am I doing the next 3
He's
hours?
too white.
He is
What?
He took his shirt
Pale.
off.
What, milky white?
He took his shirt off in the quarter-final. And, you know,
Nice body, though, Frank.
No,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
you know,
he's hard
it
body.
is...
Guy's ripped.
Yes, he's in good
He's
shape.
a hard body.
But there is a level of whiteness that only the Scottish can achieve. I mean, like, he looked like he hadn't been collared in.
Well, this
Yeah,
is...
I know what you mean.
This is exactly my point. When
Alan
people
knows about
keep-
this.
When people keep saying he's grumpy, he's miserable, I've said it before and I'll say it again. He's Scottish and he plays a summer sport. He's spending his
Yes.
entire life out of his comfort zone.
No.
He's like a one-man version of the film Cool Runnings, if you think about it.
I've never seen that, but I'll make a note of it in my...
Please do. Put it in your journal.
in my
this
commonplace book, what I keep. Yeah, I keep a list of things, and if people recommend something, and I write it down.
evening. I'm not sure if it's
Oh,
a
the other day,
recommendation as much as a little quip.
Heroin, somebody at Absolute Radio said to me, was, you know, got a lot of bad press, but actually can give you a real lift.
Yeah. Well,
I wrote it down. I haven't tried it. I probably won't. I hope he wins. Don't get me wrong.
I really do. I don't
say I really. I mean, I'll be happy.
No, but I really do.
Happy. So
I want to see that box as well. There'll be some good guests.
Will there? I'm always a bit disappointed.
There was the Duke of York asleep, which wasn't a good look. I didn't think the paper.
The Duke of York is not A-list, is he?
No,
not
really.
I mean, you want at minimum Pippa Middleton. Absolute.
Didn't they go on the same day?
Said bottom line, then that would have been fortunate. Did they?
I think Kate Middleton and Kim Sears were there on the same day. It was like a battle of lovely hair. In the tabloids.
I think you'll find it's called the Battle of the Blow Dries, but never mind.
Is it? I must have misread that.
I'm not happy with Federer's logo.
Yeah. His
Rubbish.
Initials. Yeah.
And he wears it. I've always been on telly. People are always saying to you, can't wear anything with a big logo. That's what you're told. And he deliberately wears the big RF logo. And it's a Robbie. Fred Perry's a classic. The beautiful laurel wreath.
Yeah.
And he thought, what's another logo? What about my initials? Save that for a robe. Not for a line of sportswear, you idiot. So, anyway, I'm sure it'll be lovely. But too white. So white. I'm calling it borderline racism.
Frank
Skinner
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
I watched the start of the... are you about to say something... like functional? You look like you're about to do some house business.
No,
like
carry on.
You're listening to Absolute Radio or
I'm
something
fine.
like that.
Fine for you to lead.
No, I was
As long
just
as it's not one of your peppercorn anecdotes.
It won't be anything as
Can I just
spicy
say,
as that.
The Cockerel did tell a peppercorn based anecdote
Well,
this
it
morning.
began as an anecdote. I settled myself. And then he says, I had a Chinese meal last night.
Japanese, but
containing peppercorn. And he says, you forget how hot they are, don't you?
Yeah.
I hadn't forgotten.
No.
Well, as soon as he said peppercorn,
you know
I
what?
thought,
And that was
they're
it.
hot.
He was
I'll be
out.
honest.
He was out of the anecdote.
I'll be honest, I bailed halfway through because what the end of the anecdote was, I'll be honest, it's given me some tummy trouble. And then I bailed because you were all looking at me and I thought they don't need to know this.
You know what?
But
You were
now,
right to bail.
Now I've told upwards of 50 people at once. Haven't I? I don't know what the numbers are. We'll see. Anyway, I watched the start of the Murray game.
Station of the Year, Arqiva Station of the Year, the numbers are quite high.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Does that bring the numbers up?
I hope so.
I imagine the oxygen of publicity is
Yes.
is being breathed right now, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, that's a good one. Well, welcome.
Yeah.
That's the new listeners.
Welcome
thing.
to the new ones. It's not all going to be peppercorn anecdotes.
It gets better than this.
Yeah.
Which I believe is the actual logo.
Yes, it is. That's our
It
tagline.
gets better than this. That would be great.
Stick around, it gets better than this. Or maybe it does get better. That with Dawes in block cap. Go on, you were watching the Murray game.
No, I thought we were going to speak about the Arqivas now. We can't move back to the Murray game, surely. Back and forth. It's like tennis.
Me when he took his shirt off.
Uh-huh.
How do tennis players avoid getting that line? You know when you wear a T-shirt in the sun and then you get like sunburned arms?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, he hadn't got that.
No.
Well, he's
He had
wearing
no
short
tan
sleeves
whatsoever.
in the sun all day. How come he hasn't got
the rays just can't penetrate his
Factor
Scottish
50.
skin.
It's his Scottishness.
Yeah.
Oh, I have never noticed any of them with, like, that brown arm, white
I know
arm
exactly
thing.
what you mean. It's that van driver's arm.
Yeah.
I quite like it.
But they don't get it.
No.
Weirdos.
I watched the start of the game on my laptop on train Wi-Fi.
This is the 21st century.
It's amazing, isn't
Give me
it?
that Twitter address then. Let's catch in on this modern
genuinely-
technology moment.
Genuinely amazing. I'm not that sort of person, but
Oh,
you're
hold on,
actually
you
going
can
to do it.
follow us on at Frank on Absolute. The tragic thing about this is I've been given the note. I have to hold it at arm's length so I could read it. That's an old man in a new world.
Someone has tweeted us in Green and
Hurrah.
said, "Why don't you tweet during the show?" That's our first tweet.
Well, my answer is, why do you tweet during the show?
Thanks.
So anyway,
It gives it an added air of suspense, because sometimes the Wi-Fi connection isn't good enough, so occasionally they'll throw a ball up and it'll just hang in the air and the computer will be doing that buffering thing.
Oh, I love that.
And you think, what's going to happen? It's really weird. It's like watching the game in the middle of a slow motion, and you don't... It's a bit like in the early days of dial-up, on the internet. It's a bit like that.
Oh, yeah.
It's very, very mysterious. Anyway. Arqivas.
Yeah.
I was going to say
Arqivas.
peppercorns. Yeah,
We can use that now, isn't it?
Peppercorns.
That was a bit of a peppercorn, wasn't it? It's like jumping the shark. So,
On your
yeah, I
face.
should say that the Arqiva Awards are the commercial radio awards. So they're like the Oscars of radio with adverts.
No, well, yeah.
I didn't go to the award ceremony, but both Emily and Alan were there.
Yeah, we had a hot day, didn't we?
I was nominated for newcomer.
How did I?
All right, God, you got in
didn't-
that.
I'm taking you didn't win. You didn't mention.
Awkward. I'm still a loser. Still a loser.
Who was the best newcomer?
It was a lady.
It was a
from
lady in a
LBC.
yellow dress with clumpy shoes. It was fine, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was she announced like that?
Yeah. Yeah.
At our table she was,
So
yeah.
it's not as professional as the Sony's, is it? The winner is that woman with the yellow dress. Did you see her earlier? She won that.
I found it quite difficult because Arqiva is spelled Arqiva, and so I just spent the whole night looking at the stage thinking there's meant to be a U after Q. What's happened to the rules of the English language?
Well, I got a phone call to say that the Cobs and the and the Brownies want to give me a swimming badge.
Oh,
for my
nice.
learning
Is that
to
right,
swim.
Frank?
Yes, which I thought this is coincidence. That's like the Arcala Award.
Yeah.
I didn't make that up just for that joke. Don't think for a second I did. What are you looking at?
Frank Skinner.
On Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Johnny says...
Johnny, remember me.
Thanks for that. Johnny says, "Hi Frank, I just wanted to tell you that I cheered in my van when you said Murray was in the final. Saturday, he
Hey,
says.
I'm starting out now, and they're getting people cheering. Thanks, Johnny.
Yeah, little acorns.
I don't know him that well. But,
So Frank, do you want to
Lovely.
hear about our top night out, Alan and I?
yeah, of course I
Arqiva.
do.
Arqiva.
You've kept it very much under your hats.
Well, yeah. We missed you. Can you both stop looking at the television just because there's a sporting incident on, please?
Sorry.
You always do it.
Just
I've
carry
told
on.
you.
No one will know if you carry on. I say if you carry on.
So anyway, so we arrived at this hotel, and the hotel was essentially, I say it was a hotel, it was kind of on a roundabout, wasn't it, really?
It is. Yeah.
Where were the Arqivas held?
It was a hotel in southeast London on a roundabout.
Oh, it's so...
Are we not going to name them?
Very commercial.
I can't, what's it
radio.
called?
Don't wanna
It
give them
sounds like a
commercial.
drop-off. Did you have to leave the award behind a
Well,
it felt a
pipe
bit
in
like
the
that.
Funnily
gentleman's
enough,
toilet?
when we arrived outside, there was no red carpet. There was red and white incident, like police incident tape. I don't know
dear.
why. I thought Neil Francis had gone postal. I thought something had been an incident had happened.
Oh, where is he now?
I know.
I'm surprised Emily could find a way in without a red carpet.
I know.
Well, Emily's slightly airbrushed the beginning of this story, whereby she pretended
You
that she
never
couldn't find
say
the cab.
Emily's slightly airbrushed. I'm going to take that out and use it as a trailer.
Because I was in the taxi and we were outside Emily's work for a big chunk of time while she was looking for the taxi.
I was.
Brackets, probably getting ready, close
Yes,
brackets.
Yes.
I was looking
I
at
think
it.
that's fair enough. I like people who make an effort.
But she got in very glamorous. Yeah, it was a glamorous night.
Yeah.
Good.
And then, they asked us to pose for pictures,
Oh,
didn't
that was
they?
weird.
In front of, they call it the step and repeat board, they call it, where the people pose.
We'd like the sponsors' names
Exactly.
on the back.
Yeah.
Step and repeat board.
Yes.
And,
Is that what
um,
it's called?
Yes.
Step and repeat.
Yes.
Why? Was it?
Because you step in front of it and the logo's repeated,
Oh,
okay?
okay.
So we sort of respectfully declined.
Is it
didn't we?
worth giving it a name, that board?
Yeah.
Why not just send it on that board with like the sponsors things on? Step and
I
repeat
didn't
board.
decide on that.
But at first, when we got there, she said, "Oh, do you just want your pictures taken?" Meaning by there's a horde of paparazzi, presumably
Was there?
because
What, at the Arqivas?
presumably because people like Ronnie Wood and,
Oh, well, fair
and
enough.
Dave Berry
Lisa
are going,
Snowdon.
folk like that. Yeah, like really
Dave
high.
Berry, who had the hit with Crying Game in the 1960s.
The other one,
Oh.
one out. But we said, "Really, us?" And they went, If you want, and it was immediately evident
no, you
that,
don't
like,
want
that.
hey,
No.
you don't have to.
I don't like a lackadaisical.
And then she
paparazzi.
added, you don't have to if you don't want to.
No,
And we
I
both
didn't
went,
like that
I think it's
moment.
probably better if we don't.
I remember that stage when I got to the point of premieres where the paps would start papping and you'd look through the dazzle and see some that weren't bothering to take your photo. You thought, "No, he'll never get in. No point." And sometimes I'd catch their eye and they'd just look at me knowingly. We'd both know that the bubble, if not burst, had seriously ruptured.
But Frank, guess what? The exciting news.
Oh.
Guess who we were sat with?
No, give me a moment. Let me think about it. Was it Mary
me.
Bale?
No, that's the cat in bin woman, for those unaware.
That would be brilliant.
No, but it was animal-based. The Crowman.
Ronnie Wood was on your
Yes,
table,
yes.
Sam.
He certainly
Fantastic.
was.
Now that's worth going. Just
Yeah.
for
He
that.
was, oh my God.
He was
I'm
really
quite
nice.
good friends with him now.
Are you?
I'm actually quite good friends with him now,
Well,
yeah.
He's
I
actually...
exchanged about 3 sentences with him, but they were all nice. And he was
I went
nice
straight
back.
in for the kill, you hung back a bit. I just
Yeah,
went
yeah.
bold as brass. I went, Ronnie!
Did he know who you were, if you don't mind me asking?
As soon as I said I work on Frank shows, like, oh, I really like Frank. He likes you, Frank.
Well,
he
he's-
likes you. Ronnie
you're
likes
marvellous.
you. He was, by the end of the evening, he was borrowing sugar. Can I have that sugar? He asked for 4 lumps of sugar. I said, you take
he?
the whole bowl, Ronnie.
Do they
Take the whole bowl.
Do they still put it on sugar lumps? I didn't know that. I thought that was a
never takes
60s thing.
His little face when I gave him that bowl of sugar. Oh, he looked so happy.
Little face?
Yes.
I think of him as a sort of Mount Rushmore type etched from granite kind of a man.
I liked Frank. He was puffing on an electronic cigarette and it made our table look very louche.
It's
which
been
I
a
liked.
week for electronic
It
cigarettes.
certainly
hasn't it?
has. He took a trip down the M6 on a bus after it and caused some havoc.
Well, I was once at dinner with Ronnie Wood in the days when you could smoke indoors, and he smoked. I would say he smoked 40 cigarettes during the course of the dinner. And I said, "Do you like a smoke, Ronnie?" He said, "It's all right." He said, "It's all right, Frank. They're organic." That's all right.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
Meanwhile, back at the Arqivas.
Yes. Well, I had a bit of a run-in with one of the absolute bosses,
I
Frank.
love it. I love it. I love it.
I'm sorry to tell you this.
Yeah.
Well, it was a bit unfortunate. I just referred to... Do you remember... I'm sorry, this was pre-you, Alan, but you're just going to have to deal with
Pre-me.
it. Yeah. There was an incident very
BC,
early on.
before
It might
Cockerel.
Have, yeah, before Cockerel. Might have been the first show, Frank, and there were technical problems. And one of the bosses came running in.
What a week that was. Oh, yeah, he ran in.
Yeah.
And I think we fell off air, as they say.
Yes, we fell off. And I always have referred to him running in wearing tracksuit bottoms because I was sitting here and I saw them. I saw the low-slung, elastic nature of them.
Okay.
I mentioned this to him. I said, oh, when you came in wearing tracksuit bottoms, he said, look, can I just clear something up? I was not wearing tracksuit bottoms. He was a bit angry.
Yeah.
I said, you were. I said, I saw them. I saw the tracksuit bottom. He said, I don't even own tracksuit bottoms, which I didn't believe,
He's
actually.
wearing someone else's tracksuit. That's worse. Isn't it? I mean, I'll borrow a jacket, but I won't borrow a tracky bottom.
He said, the only reason you think I was wearing tracksuit bottoms is because I'm from the north, which isn't true.
I didn't even know he was from the north.
No,
And
I didn't either.
I think of it as very much a London thing.
So
Tracksuit
do I.
bottoms.
That's what I said to him, Frank. That's
Yeah.
what I said to him. So anyway, that was a bit...
That was all.
that was an unfortunate
Maybe you
incident.
misremembered. You know, the mind can play tricks, can't it?
Yeah. I mean, it might
Thanks
have
for
been that
backing me up on that. You might have looked at me like mine doesn't. You all right? You feeling all right?
And then, Cockerel, can you just tell Frank... We presented an award, Frank,
Excellent.
Yes.
and...
In a sort of double act fashion.
well, we
Yeah, but
didn't get to say...
There was no opportunity to shine. It was literally stand there, and then like they went, and the nominees are, and then it went, and you had to just read it. So there was no like
That's
no moment
that's the
in
way
the
to
sun.
do it, isn't it?
I
Yeah.
liked it because I stood on stage and got all that attention, no work. It was like being Girls Aloud. I loved it. But we ran into Fiend of the show backstage, Frank.
Oh,
A Fiend
it was
of
like
the show.
it was like a practical joke. We were taken away from our table, moved backstage, and am I going to name the
Yeah.
individual? 6 feet from Catherine Jenkins.
You are kidding me.
No.
6 feet.
I just think you could smell the sulphur. Oh, blimey.
But imagine if she's heard what you've said about her and she turned round and said... I mean, imagine if you'd been there and
Can
you were
I
suddenly
clear
6
up
feet.
once more
Yeah.
that I never said that she was Lucifer. I said she was Lucifer's representative on Earth.
Envoy, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, but even if you'd turned around and said, "Excuse me, we hear that on Saturdays you work with a gentleman that keeps saying that I'm Lucifer's representative
but
on
she
Earth."
wouldn't have said that. She'd say, I know.
Just give us one of those stares.
And that would all she'd need to say.
Yeah.
I was wedged between her and Simon Bates at one point.
Were you?
Did she give an award or receive
He's put on a bit of weight,
an
Simon
award?
Bates.
Lovely
Bates
voice, though.
has put on a bit of weight.
No
voice.
savouries for him.
Did she give or receive an award?
I beg your pardon.
Did she give or receive an award, Catherine Jenkins?
Hopefully it went from Simon Bates.
Did she give or receive an award? I'm going to say it one more time, and then we have to move
She
on.
probably gave one, didn't she?
No, she received.
That's right.
For
yeah.
what?
She received for, I don't know what the category was, I'm
I don't
afraid.
know either.
She
But I
did
do
receive
remember
an award.
thinking that.
Most satanic breakfast show.
I do remember thinking, wouldn't it be amazing if she just burst into flames whilst there? If you'd been
Wouldn't
there
hurt her, of course. She can burst into flames and then switch it off again.
repeatedly. Yeah.
Yeah.
She did it for some of the publicity photos.
What I like is on the upside repeat down board, you know that board
Oh,
that you
yeah, that
stand in
board.
front of.
Yeah,
If you look at the red carpet, you can see the hoof. Look out for that.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Alan and I had an awful argument then. I'm not even going to say what it was about, but it was awful.
Well, it's left an atmosphere.
It was awful.
Can we move on? Can we move on?
There was an amazing moment at the Arqivas quite early on that I don't think Emily even noticed. A woman got up and started crying. She was so excited to have won an award.
What?
She
You
started,
didn't see that at award ceremony.
but then she did a thing that.
when I pick up my Scouts badge, there'll be all sorts of crying.
There'll be tears before bedtime that night, won't there?
God,
But
I haven't written my speech yet. That's going to be
She,
a trick. I'll have them in.
she got up and she said this thing where she went, "I'm overwhelmed." So she said the word "whelmed" separately, which people don't do they? Like, you're either underwhelmed or you're
yes.
overwhelmed.
It meant
but
like she was over a boyfriend called Whelmed.
But you never, like,
Yeah.
I wonder if the next day people said, "How are you?" And she said, "I'm just whelmed today.
Yeah.
I'm neither
Let's
over
start
or
saying that
underwhelmed."
now.
I've never
It's
thought.
weird, isn't it?
I've wondered if is that a verb? Does it stand
Whelmed.
as a verb on its own?
I don't know,
To
but
whelm.
I spent a lot of the night wondering that after she separated it from
Oh,
over or
whelmed.
under.
Just right.
Exactly.
Just right. Just perfectly whelmed.
Maybe she
How
was
often
so,
does that happen?
Maybe she was so overwhelmed that she'd lost her sense of grammar.
This wasn't the woman in the yellow dress and the clunky shoes.
I don't think so.
Oh, Frank,
I like this very anonymous event. Sorry.
Frank, just FYI, when Absolute Radio won Station of the Year,
Oh, yeah.
if you're wondering why Alan and I aren't in any of the pictures or the
celebration
photographic
pictures.
evidence, we were in the toilet. Not together, I hasten to add.
No.
We just presented an award to Isle of Wight Radio.
Mm-hmm.
We had commitments to do backstage.
Of course.
So we're out in the main room. We
And
do
you
the
missed-
photographs, and then I said, "I'm going to nip to the loo because it's a good chance while we're out." And then I came out of the toilet, and all the Absolute staff were jumping in the air, like getting their picture taken. And I went, "What has happened here?"
Oh, you
And
missed.
they'd won Station of the Year. We won the big reveal. We missed the big reveal.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah,
You
brutal.
missed the big moment.
Yeah,
Oh, well.
such is life.
So I think I'll take this opportunity to say that I am to be the voice of Absolute 50s on this station.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
How exciting!
fine.
Absolute 50s. I said 50s music. People think it's rubbish, but actually there's a lot of really brilliant stuff.
Well, you mentioned that to them, and now they've made
now
a
it's happening.
station.
Yeah, I'm going to do. I'll still be doing gags, but it'll be stuff about Harold Macmillan. You know? Or I might do a whole skit on the Suez crisis.
Oh, I'd love that.
Someone should.
Yeah.
I love your Suez material.
Oh, look, I'm excited about it.
I'm very excited, darling.
Just think of the stuff we can play. Rocket 88.
I'll look forward to it.
Yeah, okay, brilliant.
I mean, there's
Anyway.
other stuff on the playlist, though, isn't there?
No, I'm just playing that.
Okay.
So, speaking of rockets, I did something this week which I haven't done for a long time, and I forgot how brilliant it was.
Flew on a jetpack.
No, I wish. God, man, I used to dream of having a jetpack.
Oh,
Anyway,
I can see you with one of those.
I was
Yeah.
thinking of those rocket-shaped lollies you used to get. I can't remember what they're called now.
Zooms.
Was it Skyray?
No, Zooms.
Were they called Zooms?
Zoom or a Fab?
I'm thinking
no,
Sky,
Fab's
right?
not a rocket in it. We'll get
Anyway,
confused.
I was at a radio. I was recording a radio show.
Yeah.
It's nothing to
What
do.
was that?
It was a Radio 4. It wasn't like this.
Oh, I don't care about that. I'm
No,
not
I know.
threatened by that.
I know.
Your other little show.
And we had our lunch break. We were sitting in the cafe, and suddenly I had an ice cream van. and I assumed, this is how bitter I've come, I assumed it was an ironic ringtone. I never thought for a second an ice cream van.
That's a snapshot into modern life.
Maybe they're a commonplace now outside of London, but the only ones I see are parked at things like Fates.
Yes, I know what you mean.
The hit and run ice cream van, I thought had disappeared. But
Stop me and buy one. That's what they say on them.
Yes, because there used to be an old joke about that.
Oh, did there?
There used to be a thing written on machines in pub toilets called "Buy Me and Stop One."
Oh God! God.
Was
it green sleeves?
It wasn't green sleeves.
Oh,
it wasn't green sleeves. In fact, I'm not totally sure what it was. The theme. I'm pretty sure it was "Blue Jeans On" by David Dundas. Do you know that? I put my blue jeans on. I put my old blue jeans on. Do you remember that?
It's not saying ice cream to me, though.
No. Well, I could be wrong, but it was a mess. Maybe it was played backwards and it said "Worship the Devil."
Maybe.
Catherine, steady, get out of my head. Yeah, but oh man, I'd forgotten how brilliant that sort of lovely pointy, twisty ice cream.
The 99.
Well, you say that. There was a handwritten sign on the window.
Oh, not one of the cardboard ones with the yellowy sellotape. I can't bear that.
That kind of thing, in biro, where he'd written "Corn it with flake," and then the price. Now, "Corn it with flake" is not a title, is it?
No.
That's a contents.
Yeah.
What happened to the 99? There was no mention of it anyway. It's gone.
Oh.
So, there's any ice cream men listening, I need to know, are they still called 99s?
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
So, I had a thought I'd never had before. As the ice cream van drove away, I thought to myself, I was licking by this stage. I was, that stage when you get with a cornet where you get to the plateau, where you flatten it when the ice cream is at the same level as the cornet.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that bit.
It gets into the little ridges.
I don't mind that. Little ridges, didn't he do all blue bubble up? I'll use that on 50s.
Make a note of that.
Don't you saving all your best material for that?
No,
I won't have it.
As it left the... it's like a trampoline, I always think, when you've levelled off the ice cream.
Yes.
You think like a little ice cream trampoline.
Lovely.
As the ice cream van left the car park, I actually thought to myself, God, brilliant that. It was 1 second ago, it was a kiosk, and now it's a vehicle. Like Transformers. That's really... You never care. I have those moments.
Do you think you're slightly high on diesel fumes and ice cream? No,
I have these moments. I don't know what they'd call them. I think you'd call them modern world moments, when I suddenly think stuff like, God, I'm sitting in like an upholstered seat and moving through the city.
Yeah.
Like when I'm driving.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean.
Really. Not when you're being carried through like
no,
I am.
It really strikes me. Brilliant. But the ice cream van as well, this is something that's changed in the age of health and safety. He was wearing what I would call a health fedora.
Oh, was he?
You know those white fedoras that people wear that work in the catering industry? He had to wear one of those.
Oh, it'll be the beard net next.
Rubbish.
That's this progress.
I love the health fedora.
I often opt for the cornetto just because I do sometimes think, where are they washing their hands? And it's completely sealed up, innit?
I'd rather risk bacteria than have something I can get in a shop.
Well,
with
I think
something that
do you know what? I think it's cheaper,
stuff.
And that's why you go for it.
Yeah, you do. Such a skin. I suppose you have it. Do you want strawberry in that? No, I'll have peppercorn.
Frank Skinner
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean, Alan Cochrane. You can text us on 81215 and follow us on Twitter.
At Frank on Absolute.
Yeah.
Somebody's texted saying when you do the Twitter address, you should use the word using, because that'll help you sound like when you say you can follow us on Twitter using.
Give us that note. Give us that bit of paper.
Frank on Absolute.
I'll write that down. Using
at Frank on Absolute.
Okay.
Okay.
And you can follow us on Twitter using at Frank on Absolute. Is that right? Is that what
I
you
think
say?
it'll come. I
That's-
think
How
it'll
you
become
do
a bit
it?
smoother. Yeah.
Okay.
Infinitely preferable the way you said
Yes,
that.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Frank,
I'm happy to be used in the right context.
aren't we all? 659, Brad, says, Frank, our ice cream van plays Match of the Day and comes round at 8 p.m. when all the kids are in bed.
That's great.
Yeah.
Imagine being in bed and eating an ice cream van, the most frustrating thing.
Yeah.
You need those, you know those inflatable chutes they have on plane crashes? You need one of those. You can go straight down from your bedroom and land right at the kiosk.
Do you
That's
think?
like punishment ice cream van.
do you
I think
think
that's good.
Brad-
Don't get it
actually-
too high, you'll knock his health fedora off.
Do you think he's actually texting from Glasgow and that ice cream van selling drugs like in the ice cream wars? You know they had ice cream wars where the vans were. So that's probably why it's after
you and
the.
your old days in Glasgow.
You could talk about that on Absolute 50s,
I mean,
couldn't you?
who's going to buy one at 8 o'clock at night?
Exactly. Maybe,
Adult.
It might be
yeah, grown-ups.
revellers.
Maybe
Yeah,
people
but they-
thinking, right, the one show's finished, I'll have a choc ice.
Yeah, but you know, there's people who want savoury, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Simon Bates,
Keep
well.
the flake. Have you got any pepperoni?
Oh, yeah.
Peppercorn.
Who wants that?
Frank, 073 also, I have always wondered why it was called a 99, as it never seemed to relate to the price. Now, this isn't the only query we've had related to the 99.
Oh, yeah, we've had several, haven't we?
Yeah,
I don't know the answer.
I
Why is
do
it
know
called
the
a
answer.
99? Do you?
Well, there are some theories flying around. I won't say I haven't looked it up, because I have, and I believe in honesty.
You're allowed to look it up if you don't know it, but
Yeah.
not if you don't remember.
Well, there seem to be a lot of theories, but one of them seems to be that because the ice cream industry was traditionally run by Italians, that was the number of elite soldiers in the King's Guard, and it represents quality, the number
That's a
99.
I hate that kind of rubbish reason.
No, but that is the reason. You can't just say, I hate that kind of rubbish
Tell me
reason.
that
That is the
again.
reason.
Give us another reason.
Tell
the
me that
King's
again.
Guard.
Just
What is
give
the
you
King?
another reason.
You know, then you have to click on the King's Guard and find out what that
I'm
is.
sorry that you find the
yeah.
truth unacceptable.
Anything you can't get, you find out on one Wikipedia page. To me, is not worth
No,
knowing.
I've done a lot of intensive research.
No, well,
and that's the truth.
I think that
And you can't handle the truth.
I'm not having it.
Well,
That's-
it's true.
It's interesting, though, because just the other day, my wife and I were talking...
My
you know,
wife and I.
yes. What?
It's like being at the palace.
You're just enjoying the grammar.
I am. Lovely.
And we were talking about, you know, when Balotelli took his shirt off and did his...
Yeah. Oh, I
And,
remember when Balotelli took his shirt off.
you know, he had the stripes of sport tape. Did you see a lot of the sport tape
Yeah.
during
Yeah, yeah,
Euro
the blue,
2012?
the blue.
There's been a lot of it about, and,
Yes.
and
Yeah,
my wife
three,
was
actually.
saying...
I thought it was a... Was it
Yes,
an
3
Adidas?
strips.
Was it an Adidas thing, though? Had he been paid to have those
I
three
don't
strips
think
down
so.
the back?
Although there is probably some conspiracy theory. Apparently, it's like it's a new
Kinesio
faddy
tape.
It's not that.
Oh.
It's not
It
that new.
supports your
Actually, it's
muscles,
mid-70s.
doesn't
No, it's
Yes,
called Kinesio.
Yeah.
Oh.
Isn't
What is
that
it?
the
It's not-
old man who made Pinocchio?
Is it?
Yeah.
What's the actual name of the old man that made?
I think it was Geppetto. It's nothing like it, really.
Not really.
Sorry, everyone.
But literally, the day after we were wondering, the BBC did a story about that sport tape on their website. and it was
BBC, always a day late.
it's great.
Yes.
I thought it was excellent, that thing of going, oh, we were just wondering that.
Well, when I ran with John Bishop, do you remember that?
Yes.
Oh, I loved that.
He was plastered in it.
Oh, was it?
Was
He
he?
was falling apart, poor old
Where
guy.
was
Yeah,
it?
been doing
On
a
his
lot of
torso?
running, hadn't he?
It was mainly on his muscular calves,
Oh, lovely.
which we had with us in a cattle pen. Lovely things, they were muscular. I wouldn't have it myself. I don't like anything that makes people think, oh, I'm a bit sporty, so I am. Like people who carry a bottle of water. Don't carry a bottle
You
of
sometimes
water.
pop in here wearing a hoodie, though, don't you?
Yeah, but that's what sport would you wear a hoodie?
You'd wear it for warming up before.
Oh, see your entire
before
argument's fallen.
No, boxing you would wear a hoodie.
Oh yeah, good
No,
call.
you wouldn't.
Good
That's
call.
No, you wouldn't.
Yes, when you're doing the
That's a
walkout to
dressing
Simply
gown.
the Best, it
Yeah, yeah.
has a hood on it.
I don't come in a hooded dressing
Don't
gown.
you tell me about clothes. Don't you tell me.
Well, it's all anything that says, "Hey, I'm a bit sporty," makes me despise people.
Oh, I'm going to have to put
Here's
my hockey stick down. I
Where
feel
shall I put my?
self-conscious now.
Where shall I put my bottle? Sometimes they'll have a knapsack and there's like that gauze section. They'll have a bottle of water in there.
Oh, yeah.
Shut your face! I'm going to start carrying Panda Cola everywhere I go. just
I want
make
you
the
to get
point.
over to Absolute 50s.
I'm going to have a set of bandoleros. Like, you know what the Mexicans have their cartridges? I'm going to wear two
Yeah.
of those crossed with mini rolls. I'm saying, no, I'm not sporty, actually. I pig out.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
We were just talking about how...
Well, Daisy, the producer,
Yeah.
said that when Alan and I, sometimes we can't work the computer properly.
Because I don't do the text, they do
No.
the text thing. So,
And
yeah.
so sometimes we'll go a bit panicky and say, "Wait, what's happened? What's happened to the screen?" And Daisy said, "You remind me of the teacher at school when they couldn't work the telly."
Yeah, they could have, and I said there used to be a bloke coming in a lab coat to put the VHS on. They need a technician to put the video in. Yeah, you better get Mr. Barton in to work the VHS. You're a teacher? The idea that a bloke had to put a special protective coat on to come and put the telly on.
In case it all blew up back in the day.
Frank,
What's that thing you used to have?
I was sat round.
What's that thing you used to press? They used to get like lines
What,
on the
on
bottom
and
of the
off?
screen.
Oh, yeah, the tracking.
Tracking.
Yeah.
Yeah, and get Mr. Barton coming into the tracking, telling me he's going to need a lab coat. Brilliant.
Oh, we've had a factual text in. The ice cream wars in Glasgow were a turf war, not a drugs war, fought for the right to sell and challenged in areas.
So we never said they were a drugs war.
I
We
did.
never said they were a drugs war.
I
Or did
did.
you
You
say
said
that?
they were drugs. Well.
Another misconception. Glasgow is not a dumping ground for unfounded nonsense from an ignoramus. Ooh, all right, calm down, dear.
Oh dear.
Oh, I thought that's the sign on the way in.
Yeah.
Welcome to Glasgow, a dumping ground for nonsense from an ignoramus.
And that text has come from my gran from Glasgow. So, sorry, gran.
God. It's good that she knows the word ignoramus, though. to
Oh,
her
yeah,
age.
she knows a lot of words.
I mean, I'd have thought that's a word that she did know, and then she doesn't know anymore.
Oh, that's the other gran.
Oh, whoops, okay. And we were talking about the blue tape.
Yes. The blue tape at Wimbledon and...
Yeah. And just what you're wondering, basically. I wonder stuff all the time. I'm always wondering stuff.
What do you wonder?
Yeah, just loads of things. Like, I caught myself the other day where I couldn't remember whether or not... You know, on a bike, because I bought a road bicycle, and I couldn't
As
remember...
opposed to a house bicycle.
No, you know, you have various types of bicycle, like a mountain bike and a hybrid. And
Oh, okay.
I bought like an old-fashioned drop-handled racer.
Okay.
And I couldn't remember whether or not the inner cog at the front is easier to pedal or the outer cog. And I was wondering it for ages, thinking, which is it? And eventually I Googled it, because that's what you have to do,
I
innit?
need
For
to-
questions that are so stupid that if you ask another human, they'll ridicule you. You
That's
go
not
to a...
stupid. I don't even know what a cog is.
No.
You know
What
what
I
a
need is
cog
a
is.
jingle that goes peppercorn, peppercorn. Peppercorn, peppercorn, ooh. I tell you what I wondered. Why
What?
I was walking through St James's Park in London, and there was loads of Canada geese, and there were like a flock of them,
A flock of geese.
just wandering about. And there was you know, you get like an odd person with bread comes, and
Yeah.
they follow them around.
Anyone with bread is an odd person in my book.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But certainly in the fashion industry.
Yeah.
And I thought, why don't you walk in a V formation?
Oh, good point.
Yeah.
Because they always fly in one.
Yeah.
Just for practice. Just to get your positions right.
Yeah.
But when they walked around, they were a complete mess. It's annoyed me. I'll be straight with you.
See, that's the sort of thing I would ask Google.
Oh, would you?
Really?
Yeah. Oh,
Well,
yeah.
we had the Red Arrows go the other day with the Jubilee. And I bet those geese thinking, God, been there, done that.
The one at the back left's a bit out.
Been there, done that, bought the leg ring.
I often wonder, what do Colleen and Wayne Rooney talk about? Do you know what I mean? I see pictures of them on sun loungers together.
Yeah.
And I just wonder what their conversations, what their shared interests are. I find that quite fascinating. I often think that about couples.
What about Andy Murray and the model? What do they talk about?
I can see them having more common ground.
Do you?
Yeah, for some reason.
Where's Bristol there? I don't want to lie in, you know, I don't like a line that's like, where my sleeve ends. I don't. And she says, oh no!
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
What else?
Well, we were wondering stuff, and we've heard from the outside world. They're keen to fulfil their brief as
Stuff
the
they've
oracle.
been wondering. Oh,
yeah.
stuff, okay.
Oh no, people have
answers.
Yes.
Yeah, people have given us answers, but equally it could work the other way, couldn't it? If they've got questions between the three of us, we
They're
could try
wondering
and
stuff, yeah, but we can't look them up. Not allowed.
Well, we'll give
No.
it a go though.
Okay.
We've had Amanda Clegg, she's called.
Amanda.
She has an answer to your geese flying in formation
Oh.
or walking in formation query. The reason geese fly in formation is so that they're more efficient. The formation is the best to contrast with air resistance so that they can conserve energy while flying.
Really, like an arrowhead.
Every now and then,
Yeah.
the one in the front will pass to the back of the formation to rest and another will take the lead,
You are kidding me.
the one which needs more energy. This way they work as a team and can fly for longer.
Absolutely brilliant.
Do you know that's the same thing that they do in the Tour de France, where somebody's leading, which costs more energy, and they'll drop to the back of what they call the peloton and have a little rest, and then somebody else will lead for a bit.
The geese.
Yep.
The French.
And Amanda says that was told to them by their head teacher to encourage them to work as a team in the school.
Yeah, but why don't they walk in formation?
Well, I don't know. She hasn't given me the answer to that.
Well, she has, because she said it's not quite so necessary when begging bread from old
Not
people. in a
necessary,
park.
but it's like the England team not practicing penalties.
Yeah.
If you're going to get it right in the air, let's get it right on the ground, guys. That's what I'd say if I was a goose.
Maybe they're on the ground going, I'm not tired now, so therefore I don't need to walk with you
So
in an
that's
arrow
okay.
formation.
I understand we don't need to, but when we're up there, there'll be no place for practice. You know what I'm saying?
That your problem with geese is that they don't practice hard enough, is it?
And that's why they've never won any major tournaments.
We've had
Oh, no,
another...
actually, didn't they win the European Championships in 2004?
Yes.
I know that was Greece. Oh, I'm sorry, everyone.
Greece. Very good. Very good.
I've really messed up on that. I was moving on to Uganda, but I didn't get there.
Frank
Skinner.
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
We've had a text in from Sue Mason, who says, FYI, Andy Murray and Kim have two border terriers
Two board terriers.
two border terriers called Maggie and Rusty.
Yeah, fetch that stick.
And
Go.
it says here that...
Here, boy.
You enjoying yourself? it says here that...
Dr. Finley's
says here that Maggie is a tweeter.
The dog.
The dog tweets.
Do you know,
I thought it'd be a woofer, not a tweeter.
Yeah.
can I just say, very good, Frank. I absolutely despise people that set up Twitter pages for their animals.
But presumably
Too
it's
much
not.
time on your hands.
It's probably not Andy and Kim. It might only be some prankster.
It might be, yeah.
No, I think that's probably Kim.
Could be Kim. I mean, you know.
The days are
You
long.
think she's got the time in her day to tweet on behalf of a dog?
Yeah.
The days are long when you're not in the royal box.
Yeah. She's unemployed. She's got plenty of time.
Blow dry only
Doesn't-
takes
does
2.5
a lot of,
hours, for
does a lot
God's
of
sake.
wicker work as well, apparently.
Does she?
She makes him
Frank.
all his dirty clothes baskets for home. Because he gets through a lot of sweaty outfits, as you might imagine.
Is she making a ship out of matchsticks to put in a bottle as well, like some kind of lifer or
I'll
something?
get you a big bottle from the French Open. Oh, thanks. I want a really big one so I can put it on. No, get under. That was the dog he was
Frank,
talking to.
He's got a touch
We've
of a
solved-
train spotting character rather than an actual professional
has.
athlete that's in the Wimbledon final.
But he has that anyway, I think. They
Yeah.
want him to be a lot nicer, don't they, than he is.
I
I'm not
think
saying he's not
great.
nice, but
I think he's great.
he doesn't play the game of being Mr. Charming.
Oh,
Like
no.
Federer. Federer.
No.
The hell, Federer?
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Frank,
Hello?
I know you've been dying to solve this 99 debate we were having. Well, it wasn't actually a debate. We were talking about where the name derived from.
In case you've just tuned in,
Yeah.
I went to an ice cream van twice this week, actually, in successive days. And on both types, I had what I would call the 99, but what was described in a handwritten sign on the ice cream van as corn it with flake.
Well, We've had an email in. Hi, Frank. I think you'll find that to name the popular ice cream / chocolate flake combo in '99, it has to contain a Cadbury's flake.
Is that right?
Therefore, the cornet in your ice cream van was topped with a substandard little version of the flake.
Well, you know, it's funny. It wasn't when I bit into the flake. I thought, it was a bit like. Have you ever eaten driftwood?
Do you know what I call that? Nan's chocolate. When
Yes.
Nan's used to send you Easter eggs in the post, and it would all be broken when it
So there
arrived.
used to be a little thing called the whirly gigs. Do you remember those chocolate? And that was I don't know. It tastes a bit like onion. I think cheap chocolate has just a little bit of onion in it.
Yeah.
Nothing too severe.
Just to bolster
My
it.
absolute fantasy, as you can imagine.
But then it shouldn't have been able to say cornet with flake, because flake. Actually, I don't think it was a capital F.
Oh, right.
Yeah, but if
he's
you're going to be
good,
writing
he's-
on cardboard signs, you can get away with all sorts.
I
That's true.
suppose it's better than putting cornet with driftwood in it.
That'll put people off.
Yeah, your sales are diminished somewhat.
People might think that you was it was the CD of a brass player who'd worked with Travis.
I think cornet with
That
driftwood
was a
is
struggle.
quite...
Got it out.
You've
though.
got there.
I got it out.
I paused, I was there.
I think it's more Saatchi Gallery cornet with driftwood.
Yes.
Yeah, probably
Don't you
is,
think?
actually.
Very much so.
Chaps. Frank, did you see this week the Olympic
Did you
torch, which is something of a friend of the show?
Can I just say, I heard Ian Duncan Smith
Oh, yes.
talking about people
No, it's cleared up now, thanks.
talking about people fiddling disability benefit.
Oh, yeah.
no.
And he said as many as 25% of the people on disability benefit might be complete phonies and absolutely fine. And he was going to get them all off.
Right.
And I thought, don't rush it, IDS, because these people could be a secret weapon come the Paralympics.
Oh, God.
We could
That's
wipe
happened
the
in the
floor.
past, though.
We could wipe the floor. Just get the old orange sticker on the bike.
That has happened, though, hasn't it? There was it
We'll
the
expose
Spain
them
team?
after. Let's get the
I think it was
medal.
a Spanish team that were pretending to be blind. They were basketballers or something. It was a
See?
big story.
Yeah, well.
Really
years ago.
uncomfortable about this conversation.
Oh, sorry. Carry on.
Anyway,
Olympic
back to
torch.
the safety of Gary Lineker and the Olympic torch.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Feel much no bad can come when Gary's around. So the Olympic torch, people take turns carrying it through the country in a sort of parade.
Yes.
Now-
I've seen it.
You've seen it. Well, it all went a bit wrong, Frank.
What,
this
with
week.
Gary Lineker?
Doesn't it go wrong every week?
Well, did you see two little boys?
Hold on a minute. Two little boys had two little toys. Each had a wooden horse. Everybody.
No,
Gaily they played.
no, absolutely not.
Okay.
They ran on mid-parade.
I saw that.
Did you see that?
Yeah, they
I
tried to
didn't think
snatch
that
it.
was charming or funny. It was just, I thought it was Broken Britain.
So did
Yeah,
I.
me
Frank,
too.
the news. Did you see the local news reporter? He went, "Two mischievous lads."
No,
he called
they
them
weren't.
mischievous lads. I thought they were
only
nasty.
little. The cheek of that. There
Yeah.
might be mischievous lads now. 2 years' time, they will be torturing an elderly neighbour. You let them off with doing stuff like I was really outraged by it. I thought it was an outrageous
I
thing.
was.
Or
to
it could
do.
just be that it was Coventry and they wanted to keep the fire. It could just be that.
Can't believe you made a Midlandist remark.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Frank, we're talking about those scamps who stole the Olympic torch.
Yes, those children.
Young offenders. That's what I'm calling them.
Well, did
'cause I was
nothing happen
offended
to
by
them?
But what happens at what
Spare
age
the
do
rod
you
and
go
spoil
from
the child.
mischievous lad into criminal? I think 13.
Is that it?
I think 13 is when the local news reporter stopped saying mischievous lads.
What?
They
There
were only
should-
like
there
10 or
should be-
11, weren't they?
There should be a button on the torch so it can be used as a weapon. Like a flamethrower. Oh, and there's two young lads of... Oh, it's all right, they're on fire. Wouldn't be too difficult, surely, to set that up in the modern age.
On the subject of the Olympic torch, we've had a text in. I don't know. You might want to put your hand on the friend of the show jingle. You've got a friend of the show
Here
jingle,
we
haven't
go. I have.
you? Well, Tracy Emin
Friend of the show.
Oh, we
has,
love Tracy.
has texted a picture of herself in the carrying the torch tracksuit, which is one size fits all, so it's too big. Too big.
It's quite loose. It's quite loose fitting.
It's a nice picture, though.
It is a nice picture. Good old I didn't know Tracy was carrying.
She looks good. She's got a nice pair of pins, Tracy.
You can't tell in that outfit.
No.
They wouldn't have trusted her with that torch, would they, 15 years ago? Oh, marvellous. That's brilliant. Well, how lovely. You got a photo from...
I'm so excited.
You get to keep the torch as well.
Yeah,
She could incorporate that into a work of art.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Little tip. Or it'd make a fantastic 99.
Oh, wouldn't it?
Hey, bit of ice cream in the top of that. I'd like to run behind them with a 99. To say it's all very well fire as inventions go, but don't beat this.
Yeah.
That's brilliant, though. So she'll be doing Margate or something.
She is doing Margate.
That's her hometown, isn't it?
Who
Gary
are you going to call?
was in Leicester.
Who are you going to call? Olympic Flames going through Margate. Oh, who do we ask? Brilliant. Well, thank you for that, Tracy, and happy birthday.
Yeah, Gary Lineker. Then you see, it was back in safe hands. The torch.
Oh yeah.
After
Gary.
the scamps.
Yeah.
And Gary.
See, he'd have fobbed them off with crisps if they'd have approached him.
He would have.
Exactly,
would have
they'd have
been
been
fine.
distracted, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
He's probably surrounded by crisps at any point, just in case kids come
Yeah,
towards
he's
him.
got terrible eczema. Poor Gary.
I loved it when Gary was holding it, though.
He pretended
Anyway,
that he was
this
a
is
bit
no time for
tired out, didn't he?
nostalgia.
Frank Skinner.
On Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. You can text us on 81215. Using Frank on Absolute. That's the Twitter.
On Twitter. Yeah.
I love the way you do that.
Yeah, it's really slick.
Twitter.
So we're talking about the Olympic torch.
You were.
We were.
Well, no, I think it's fair to say all of us were
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
in this
Fair
instance.
enough. I don't know why I singled you out. Can I say, I never ask for free stuff on this show like a lot of people do on radio. And last week the first time I ever asked for pants.
Well, I think asked is scaling it down. I'd say you begged.
I begged for
I think you
pants.
begged, yeah.
It was
I asked for trainers, Adidas Originals UK 10, but
that
you
was,
begged
that was
for
cynically asking for trainers.
pants.
You can go. It's difficult for a man of my age and my public profile to go in a shop and buy pants without it being on Twitter.
Uh-huh.
Frank Skinner,
Well, especially-
bought pants.
Just sold Skinner some wise.
I mean, that would be a tweet of the week, wouldn't it? Frank Skinner bought pants, compared to some of the stuff I've seen as examples on there of mundane, pedestrian conversation.
Yeah.
I love you
Skinner
getting
buys-
angry about Twitter.
Frank Skinner buys pants would be the T.S. Eliot, the wasteland of tweets.
Yeah.
Anyway, was I sent any pants? Was I Buffalo? Nothing.
It's like Buffalo.
Absolutely nothing came. So I am
never heard that as a
disgraced.
phrase
Not only do
before.
I not have pants, I've begged for pants and been snubbed.
And that's not a good look for a man of your age.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to buy quite a lot of wool and some needles this weekend.
Oh, that'd be great
What
if
do
you
you
just did a
mean?
bit of knitting during the advert breaks on this show.
And I'm going to knit some pants.
You've got an itch there.
Because what you want against your skin is
I tell you
wool,
what I'm doing.
isn't
I'm
it?
weighing my left man
I thought
boob
you were doing that.
in my hand.
You can't do that. I can't do that.
No, you can't do it. That would be sensual. But when I do it,
definitely
it's like an episode of The Ascent of Man.
You were actually
both
wearing your man
non-sensual
boot, weren't you?
and
I am
non-essential.
actually weighing. I've copped it and I'm weighing it in my hand. Do you have to tell everyone listening?
Well, I
Do you
have
know
to
these
watch
are respectable people in their black tour t-shirts and Dunlop green flashes with hangovers, living in bed-sits, eating pot noodle out of a shoe?
It's only David Baddiel.
No, that is. I'm told that according to the marketing people, that's your average absolute listener summed up.
And they're very welcome too, aren't they?
They're my type of people, actually.
Me too.
Who listens to Magic FM? Drivers
Yeah.
and the elderly.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm glad we've cleared that up.
Okay. I'll tell you something about the Olympic torch, by
Yes.
the way. One of my dreams as a youth and child was to own a jetpack. You know, those flying... The thingy had... there's one in Thunderball.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
James
And
Bond
the opening
escapes.
credits, yeah.
You want. Is he in the opening
Oh,
credits?
no,
He
maybe that's the
escapes.
parachute, yeah.
He escapes, and oh man, it's the best thing ever. I always thought
Yeah.
I'll end up, you know, when I go to work, I bet I end up going to work on one of them by that stage.
Yeah.
Didn't happen.
Oh, it's
And
a
now
shame.
the only people that do are stuntmen.
But they used. I went to a James Bond exhibition at the Imperial War Museum, and they had the one they'd used in the film, and someone was telling me there that they're not that they tend to cut out. And if there's any engine you're using that you don't want to cut out, it's the jetpack.
Yes. Can we get a more dependable one, please?
But, oh man, I used to dream of it.
As people are putting the jetpack on, they say stuff like, "How recently was this serviced?"
Exactly. I'd do the goose thing. I'd walk around in it for a bit just to make sure it was operational. Then you think, oh, am I using up all my good time now or my sky time?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what I'd do if I have a jetpack. I'd take the dog for a walk on it. With me above him, but the extended lead fully extended. So people think, oh, look at that dog. Oh, it's on some sort of... Whoa! Flying man! Oh, man. I can't tell you. I'm going to have a go on one day. You can buy them. You know, they're on the internet. You can buy them.
Oh,
I
they're quite
believe
a price.
anything that it includes the phrase on the internet.
But I know what happened. I'd put one on. It'd be like, you know, sometimes a skyrocket goes wrong and it just sizzles around the floor and goes into the crowd. It'd be like that. I'd be like a moth bouncing off the walls of the house.
Like a balloon coming down.
Right on in the house. Whoa! Smashing stuff up out of control. Oh, quick, get the technician. Where's Mr. Barton?
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
Frank, we need to stop everything and deal with an email that we've just
Stop
had in.
all the clocks.
Stop all the clocks. What's the next bit? Put out the lights or something? Something. You know, sadness.
Not so good.
The end.
No.
Not so good. Something. Yeah. It used to be a great poem.
The muse had left him at that
Used
point.
in a film.
That's right, yeah, that's what
I used to
happens.
love
Yes,
it.
I
You
agree.
couldn't use it anymore. No.
Yeah, popularity does that, doesn't it?
Folks in Yates's wine lodge know it now.
Thank God I've sidestepped it.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not blighted my career.
It is quite bitter.
I'm not, I was teasing.
Okay.
We were talking about somebody earlier on who said that the ice cream van in their street came around at 8 p.m. after all the kids had gone to bed. We've had an email entitled "Ice Cream Vans Rules." Ref, ice cream vans at 8 p.m. at night, ... Would appear the driver is breaking the rules,
Oh, God.
2 exclamation
Oh,
marks.
I love the sound of him.
And now the quotes. Under the Control of Pollution Act 1974, it is an offence to operate a loudspeaker outside the hours of noon and 7 p.m. if it is fixed to a vehicle which is being used for the conveyance of a perishable commodity
He didn't.
for human consumption.
But maybe he didn't put the music on. We don't know that.
Well, they...
Maybe just took
Yeah.
up part.
No, I thought they said it was Match of the Day and it was at 8 p.m. at night.
Yes. Oh, well remembered, Cockerel. it
was
was.
it? Oh, I thought
A
it was
statutory code of practice on noise from ice cream van chimes, etc.
in some fundamentalist Muslim countries where music isn't allowed, the ice cream van just pulls up, just sits there.
That's right.
Right,
Yeah. Taliban were
terrible.
anti-music, weren't
It's a terrible job there.
It tells drivers not to play bursts of music lasting more than 4 seconds. More
Down,
than
down,
once
down.
every 3 minutes.
That's what it would be. Down, 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 down.
When in
seems
sight of a
rather
rival
draconian.
vehicle within 50 metres of a school or place of worship, and more than once every 2 hours in the
Okay,
same
we're not in the
length
Royal
of
Courts of
street.
Justice.
I really like the fact that we've got this much detail on the show.
When I was
we were
15
talking about wondering stuff earlier. I wonder if anybody woke up to today thinking, I wonder what the rules are on ice cream vans and music after 8 p.m.
When I was 15, there used to be an ice cream van used to sit outside our school when we came out of school.
Yeah.
And the bloke who owned it used to work in the pub I drank in the evenings when I was 15. So I'd go and get a 99 from him and say, I'll see you tonight. I'll have a 99, please. Do you want a barley wine with that? No, I just... Yes.
Single-handedly,
So
you met all
ice
your
cream
needs.
in my school uniform, and then in the pub on the night.
You see, they tend to diversify now. We're calling them ice cream vans in a quite a purist 70s sense, but they all do burgers and chips now as well.
They
No.
don't.
You have? They do.
not.
Have you not
No
met
way.
David Van Day from Dollar?
Not
No
round my way.
No way, Jose, as Jose Mourinho.
No, they
said.
do. They do diversify.
I'm not having that. They do not mix the two.
They do.
It's impossible. Think of the temperature problems you'd have.
Well, what about if Simon Bates pitches up? He might want a burger and chips, and then he might want a big old screwball afterwards.
Oh, I know, but imagine a hot dog. Keep Catherine Jenkins out of this. I imagine a hot dog bap with a big flake on it, and some mustard. Be disgusting. Although it's an interesting blend of textures.
I quite like it.
Innit?
Jerry Halliwell's bin. Frank,
Jerry Halliwell's been.
we've had
Or
an
is that the
email in.
trains? Sorry?
That's the absolute
An
stage.
email.
Yeah, we've had an email in this week.
Ah, yes.
This is from Bobby Nicol. Sounds
Bobby
quite end
Nichols
of here.
surely is a 1970s comic.
Yes. Hi, Frank, Emily and Alan. Hope you're all keeping well.
Thank you very much, Bobby.
Frank, can you clarify something? On Loose Women recently, they were discussing certain subjects, including people spying on others. Then all of a sudden, Carol Vorderman said, well, I could see that Frank Skinner had a telescope. Well, I nearly choked on my ham sandwich. That's from Bobby Nicol.
Yeah, well, I did have a telescope.
Yes, I know, I used it.
Yes.
And did Carol Vorderman live
Carol
adjacent?
Vorderman lived in the block opposite.
And John Prescott.
Yeah, well, I could
She didn't
imagine...
live with John. Yes, she did, but I
could
did.
imagine which flat she thinks that your telescope was trained upon.
But, you know...
It wasn't.
No, it definitely wasn't.
You were stargazing, weren't you?
I wouldn't do that. Yeah, I was looking at the sights of London, which it does not include Carol Vorderman in her smalls,
No.
if I may call them that. No, so so I resent the suggestion. I would never look at Carol Vorderman without her knowing about it. That'd be terrible. Also, if I wanted to get a good look at Carol Vorderman in a flat, I'd use me jetpack. Just hovered outside the bedroom window. Eh? Obviously, I would have used a conundrum.
Indeed.
Can't, I'm Catholic. So,
But you see, I did sometimes. I'm not
I
gonna
never.
lie.
Can I put my hand on my heart and say I never spied on Carol Vorderman in her flat?
No.
Good. Do you think you're at confession now? Or
But
something?
Frank, when I've come round to yours, the first thing I do is often seize the binoculars.
Oh, well, you.
I won't lie. I've actually at one point I assumed a sort of sniper position
I
on the
came
floor.
into the flat one night, and
so embarrassing.
Emily and my girlfriend Kath were lying flat out on the floor with binoculars,
that part of it sounds like a fantasy, but then it gets worse.
looking at a man across the way who was in, and they were flat out on the floor like snipers. And I can't tell the full extent of this story, but they said he's on his laptop.
Oh.
And he's either or he's playing online backgammon. Now, how can that be mistaken? I don't know. But yeah, there were. I mean, all the lights were off. It was the most blatant snooping I've ever seen in my life. I was shocked.
I know. But I like snooping, Frank.
I know you do.
I do. I'm really nosy. I can't help it.
I hate that scene on Come Dine With Me where they look around the person's house. If that was my house and dinner guests looked at it, I'd poison them. Serve them right.
I just hate Come Dine With Me. Come Dine With Me, to me, if you want to know what symbolises broken Britain, what's gone wrong, why the country that produced Shakespeare now produces those two kids that tried to snatch the flame, the answer is Come Dine With Me.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Frank, we were talking earlier about what a nosy Parker I am, and well, you were just saying that you hadn't been staring at Carol Vorderman with binoculars. We should clear that up.
Well, actually, it was
Telescope. I do
Well, actually,
apologise.
Nugget has texted to say in order to have established that you had a telescope, Carol Vorderman must have spied on you, pot kettle.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Good point.
Yeah, so she's the snooper, after all. Emily,
He'll-
you were saying
She is exposed.
Carol Vorderman's exposed? No.
She loves a detox.
Oh, she does.
She lives for a detox.
She does. And a bodycon dress. And a nude heel.
And a Sudoku.
Oh, she loves that.
That's her sums up, I think.
Yep.
I feel we can move on.
No, but I read this, Frank. I read this story that said that 1 in 10 people, apparently, admit to snooping around people's homes when they go around there for dinner parties and things.
1 in 10.
Yes, that's quite a high stat
This is
as
what
stats
I
go.
don't have people in the house. This is why.
Yeah, slay 'em. That's
You
what
can
I say.
imagine the temptation in a house like mine to go snooping, looking.
Oh,
for
yeah, memorabilia.
Well, I mean anything.
But you see,
Is
I
that why I've
think...
never been invited?
Well, I
Awkward.
In case I go on a memorabilia rummage.
yeah, exactly. I mean, you can understand the temptation. I mean, the joy of actually going through people's drawers. But as you know,
Marvellous.
my one of my great terrors in films is when you're looking through a drawer and stuff, and someone, you know, when they're looking for secret documents, and you realise the other person's. I'm getting tense talking about
I know.
it.
He
You know
can't
what? I
watch
was
thrillers.
watching something the other day that had a similar scene, and I said to my wife, "Frank hates these scenes."
No,
She went, "How do you know?" And I went, "I don't know. I just do."
No, I honestly can't cope with those scenes. And you can see, sometimes it's like a frosted glass
Oh, I
on the
hate the
door. You
frosted
can see that to the fact, God's sake, get out my offering! Anyway, that's why I could. Well, two reasons. One, as you know, I follow.
He didn't like All the President's Men. He found that stressful.
Well, two of them are all right. But I follow the Nazarene, as you know,
All right, yeah.
and
from the halfway line.
You know, Jesus. I follow Jesus, and he's the great CCTV, of course.
Baby
So
Jesus.
then if I'm snooping, I know he knows. So
Right.
I don't do it. Also, I think I'd get completely hooked if I let myself go on the snooping. I can imagine the joy of it.
Yeah.
They do say in London you're never more than 6 feet away from an adult magazine, or is it Rat?
Yeah.
I think it's Rat.
I think it is right, yeah.
I don't think you'd have to dig very deep in anyone's house to find dark secrets. Is my view.
Yeah, well, we
mine
quite-
are all on display.
Dark
Thanks to my-
Secrets
thanks
is
to
the
my
name of
cleaner.
Dark Secrets is the name of a magazine. No, but have you actually?
I've snooped.
Have you?
I'm
I
yeah.
think we'll come back
Okay.
to this. I'm keen to hear.
It involves a celebrity.
Oh, you have been to my house on several occasions.
It involves a celebrity.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right then.
Frank
Skinner.
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
Snooping.
Snoop Doggy Dog, yeah, that was me. Well, we had a terrible snooping incident when I was a child.
I thought that was at Royal Week that you were adopting for a split second there.
But I might just do that.
Yeah, it's suit you.
my parents were separated, but it was in quite a civilised, middle-class way, so they were still quite good friends.
Right.
So my dad had gone to stay with Nick Ross, which is what often happens when your family
the
breaks up.
crime watch person?
Yes, yeah, we're friends.
Oh God. Lovely.
And Nick Ross was a
I
sort
hope
of
they didn't reconstruct the separation.
lovely house he had. He was a sort of young man, not married at the time, bachelor
No.
about town. So we went with my dad to get him in his new abode with Nick.
Was he doing Crime Watch at this stage?
I don't know. It might have been just pre-Crime Watch. It might have
Okay.
just been on the cusp. The contract might have been, might have just been about to sign.
The ink drying.
He was doing well for himself, though. Nationwide, I think he might have been
Oh,
doing.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
So we got in there, me, my mum and my sister. We thought, we'll have a little snoop. We'll have a little look
Well,
around.
you did it together, so there wasn't
Yes,
even
yes.
Oh, my
A
goodness.
troop on a snoop.
My dad was just being a nice man, just sitting there, not snooping at all. We did everything. We did a Watergate sweep. I was looking in... I was looking in the bedroom. My mum, I remember this so vividly. My sister was in the study. Honestly, this is true. My mum, I remember to this day her saying, because he was single at the time, she said, "Oh, he's got a bidet. He's counting his chickens a bit." Because he didn't have a girlfriend. At that moment, I looked downstairs and Nick Ross is standing there.
Oh, no.
Yes!
Mortificado.
This is where he got the idea for Crime Watch. Oh, God. So he caught you in the act?
He was so nice about it, but my dad didn't stay there for very long
No.
How can you be nice about it?
Yeah,
What?
exactly.
because he was a nice man.
Wow.
And do you know, my mum's boyfriend was in a Crime Watch reconstruction. He's an actor, and he ended up on the cutting room floor. And I've always made that association because of that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I can imagine Nick Ross in the edit suite saying, "Yes, revenge is a dish best served
Indeed,
cold."
yeah.
Got him. And that could have been his big break, your mum's boyfriend.
know.
He could have gone on to be... He could have been...
He could have played the Dane.
yeah, he could have played the Dane.
You could have.
You know the Dane.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he could have played that.
The Dane.
He could have played that, but it didn't happen. Okay. So, a friend of mine told me that he'd been experimenting with out-of-body experienes.
Oh,
Have
yeah.
you heard of these things?
Yeah.
Some people sometimes think they're on the bedroom sill and they look down, they can see themselves in bed. And he said, I left my body the other night, and I went to your bedsit and watch you in bed.
Oh.
And he described all the pictures on the wall, and It wasn't a bed. Actually, I was living at home. My bedroom, he described, where he'd never been. He described the pictures on the wall, what my duvet... It wasn't a duvet, it was more of a quilt. He described all that. I was terrified.
Owl in the cage.
Absolutely, yeah. That terrified me. And I said, don't ever materialise in my bedroom ever again.
You've got to have a rule about such things, I think.
Honestly, I was genuinely frightened about it. And it worried me for about 2 weeks. I used to imagine him hovering above me. And I found it very restricting. And then eventually he said, oh no, actually, when you were in the toilet a couple of weeks ago, I just nipped upstairs, had a look at your bedroom, just a bit of a joke, and I fell for it. It's a
Prankster.
complete lie.
Thanks.
It was right up there with my completely invented Absolute 50s story.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Are you scared of heights? Either of you two? I'm very afraid of heights.
Are you?
Yeah.
No, it's one of those things I'm not really... I once stood on a mosaicist's balcony in Westminster Cathedral.
Is that high up?
It's quite high up.
I don't know what a mosaicist
Someone
is.
who does mosaics.
Oh, him? All right.
So he's doing a lot of ceiling work.
Yeah.
One he really needs, of course, is a jetpack.
Yeah.
But... and I did have that, people say you feel like a wobbly thing in your neck and you feel a bit... It's the only time I've experienced that, but normally I love a height.
Really? Because the Shard, the massive London...
I love the Shard.
Do you? You're a big fan of the Shard, because there was a man cleaning the windows...
Oh, did he have jetpack?
No.
Oh.
Hold on a minute. 8 o'clock, a girl awakes, 8:05, a bath she takes, 15:15, my lad dear breaks. Everybody. When I'm cleaning windows. So he's cleaning,
it was always going to happen
and,
with this story, to be fair.
There was a big old, thunderstorm? Not thunderstorm, the wind got up, basically.
Apparently it was very, very frightening.
He was dangling on the 72nd floor at that height for most of the day.
Dangling by what, though?
In the cradle thing, I think. The sort of...
in the cradle.
Oh, it's truss. They have like a belt truss thing.
Yeah.
They have a cradle, don't they?
It's a belt and cog system, isn't it? I think.
Of course, if the bow breaks, the cradle will...
fall.
It'll plummet.
Oh, God, can you imagine, though? I find that absolutely terrifying.
Well, I live in flats that are... I'm on the 11th floor. I'm up on the 11th floor watching the cruise.
This was the 72nd... I can't do the maths, but it's nearly 7 times higher than where you live.
We have these... I was talking to a bloke in the... in
the flats.
In the sort of foyer. And I said, what do you do? He said, I'm an abseiler.
All right.
I said, are you an abseiler? I said, are you one of the blokes that clean the windows? He said, yeah, we clean the windows while we're up there. And I thought, no, you clean the windows, and that involves abseiling. You're not an abseiler, you're a window cleaner.
Oh.
That's like saying, I'm on street patrol, and I collect a bit of rubbish while I'm out there. So, if you're a window cleaner, be loud and proud about it.
Yeah.
You're not an abseiler. It involves abseiling.
But you're not James Bond.
No, you don't say I'm a ladder climber. No, you're a window cleaner. Anyway, I love the Shard, and I'll come back to it.
I loathe it, and I'll come back to that.
Yeah.
Is there going to be conflict?
Sounds like it.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
I watched the... like I said, I love the Shard. It looks like a massive... spaceship, because I can see it from my window. It looks like a massive spaceship has landed in East London. Fantastic.
No, I can see it from my window.
Oh yeah.
All right, get you guys.
It looks awful. It's not. I'll tell you why. It could be good. It's got potential. Don't get me wrong, but it's not finished. Not by a long stretch. Have you seen the top? It's all open. It's all bitty. They haven't finished it.
Shard-like, you see.
There's nobody occupying the top bit.
It looks... There are elements that look exposed as well.
There's nobody up there yet.
That was the deliberate design of Renzo Piano.
It's a horrible design.
The Italian architect.
I really don't like
Renzo Piano is sort of the posh version of Ashley Banjo.
I looked, Frank, having watched it evolve, I looked at it the other day, I thought, at least another year's work there.
It evolved?
To my horror.
It shot up like out of nowhere.
Really?
It was brilliant, yeah.
I've misunderstood this architecture.
I love it. It looks like there's a big launch pad in London. It's brilliant.
Wow.
So there. Although I must say I watched the opening laser show the other night.
Oh, how was the Prime Minister of Qatar?
No, I watched it from my window. I didn't go.
Okay.
I got up in the night to watch it. It's 10:15.
Yeah.
I'd been in bed a while, and it was rubbish.
Oh, really?
Looked like they got 3 naughty children with laser key rings to stand on different floors and shoot them out the window.
Maybe some naughty children pinched the lasers. Like,
Yeah, that would not surprise me.
topical
Watch
story.
out, you elderly neighbours.
I'll tell you what, if I'd been cleaning the windows on the 72nd floor and been stuck in that lift, they'd have had to re-clean every window under me for the rest of the day. It's horrible. Very.
Well, you've
Horrible.
You've gone a bit earthy.
I'm sorry I've gone earthy, but
You
my
are.
fear of heights knows no...
Just because we're near 11 o'clock, let's not get
There's no
carried away.
tact, evidently.
Look, coming up next is Mark Crossley, and if the good Lord spares us and the creeks don't rise, we'll be back again this time next week. Thank you so much for listening. We love you all. Goodbye.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.